Morality is a part of the universe. It's a way of playing the human game. And but the thing itself is really beyond good and evil. Now, as I see it, that's the way it is, and whether one likes it or not, it's always still up to you how you want to behave. For the blessing of people or for their destruction.
Lamont, what's good, family? Talk to me.
Hey, what's going on with you?
Oh, man, I'm chilling right now in my city. I actually just got some work done, man. Believe it or not, I'm gonna be in your city in a bit. How you been?
Yeah, you know, I can't complain. Just taking my time, reinserting myself back into the sport. And yeah, I heard. That's actually why I'm calling. I started this docu-series called Boxed Out. It's picking up some momentum.
Yeah, man. I actually got to check out episode 1 and 2, bro. You got some good going. It's different.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. You know I love to have you on episode 3. I was thinking about turning that spotlight around, talking about the things that people don't see.
I think I know where you're going, but what you mean exactly?
I'm talking about the paperwork, the conversations, the stuff that determines a career before a punch is ever thrown. Whether the fighter realizes it or not. I need you on this one, discussing back end, contracts, power, the things that fighters feel, but don't always know how to name.
Yeah, that's definitely a conversation worth having. I'm in.
Every system begins with a promise. A vision written in clear language, meant to guide how people treat one another. Inside this chamber, Thomas Jefferson wrote about equality, about sacred honor, about laws growing alongside the progress of the human mind. But history shows us something uncomfortable. The distance between what we say and what we practice can become very wide. Jefferson himself called slavery an abominable crime, yet he participated in the very system he condemned. So the question isn't whether people know right from wrong. The question is, what happens after they know? Most systems don't collapse overnight. They drift. The original principles get buried under convenience, power, tradition, and the quiet understanding that exploitation can be profitable. In boxing, those quiet understandings often live inside the paperwork, inside the deals nobody talks about. Fighter and manager are supposed to be two parts of the same mission. One risking his body, the other protecting his future. But too often, one side begins to see the other as leverage, something to be used rather than supported. That's where hidden contracts are born, not just in ink, but in expectation. But every now and then, two people decide to close that distance, not by pretending the system is perfect, but by understanding it well enough to move differently inside it. That's the meeting point, where ideals stop being inscriptions on a wall and start becoming something practiced in real life. Today, Lamont Peterson and Adrian Clark are trying to build that bridge. Whether it holds or breaks, only time will reveal that. But the work still has to be done. This is Boxed Out.
Good.
How are you, brother?
I'm doing good, man. How about yourself?
Good to see you, brother.
All right, good, man. I appreciate you coming out. Help me with this third episode of Boxed Out.
Yes, sir.
Hidden
yes, sir.
contracts.
I'm here, man. I see you already got it on the table.
Yeah, man. Man, that's a great book right there, man. All fighters should be reading that book right there.
Protect yourself at all times.
Protect yourself at all times.
You know, August makes 10 years, bro. 10-year anniversary of Protect Yourself at All Times.
Time be moving.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, but around that time, man, I ain't gonna lie to you. I feel like it's been a big change in the psyche of the current fighters, and I think it had a lot to do with this book.
Appreciate that. I appreciate
fighters talking about like they their own business owners and they're like they manage their work for them and just understanding their rank a little bit more, just dictating their career a little bit more. And we played around with a few names, but once we decided that it was going to be about the business side of things, yeah, it was just more like it was a no-brainer.
Yeah, who else you gonna go with, man? Who else you gonna go with?
That's what I was saying, man. Like, so yeah, I'm just I'm really appreciative that you're here. Helping me create this particular show.
You know, I'm still a fan, so it's like to get the reach out from somebody that I've been watching, and you know, I remember when you and E fought, so it's like I was a little giddy, like okay, Lamont Peterson reaching out to me, they called me, so I was super excited. So for me, it was a no-brainer. I didn't care, you know, what the date was or the location. Like I was gonna make it happen.
Yeah,
you know,
you showed that.
Oh no, there's certain.
We 100% appreciate
but
that.
That's the respect though, because it's like we talked about relationships. Someone like you, or your caliber, called and like, yo, we need this. You don't second guess it or you don't question it. You just roll with it. So I'm honored to be here, man, and be in your presence, bro. Much respect for you and what you've done for this sport.
Yeah, same for you, man. I feel like you made a quiet impact on the sport already.
I like that.
And
I like that.
I do expect it to keep
get louder.
It's gonna get louder. Yeah. So hopefully we able to do that today with just sharing some of the stuff that from the experiences that we've been through.
Yeah.
And just some of the things that we feel like can help the sport and overall to just move forward.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, I guess for me, it's just from the first time I read the book, you mentioned it in the book, but I do want the audience to hear it if they haven't read the book. What was the motivation behind, I can say, the movement?
Gotcha.
Protect yourself at all times.
Man, really, I actually fought in amateurs, and I always tell this story. I wish I had the story that was like, I was a top amateur, you know what I'm saying?
We all do.
I went pro, and then, it just didn't work out, so I got on the business side.
Right.
But, man, the motivation was actually Timothy Tipton's right hook. I got hit with a right hook I didn't see coming, bro. I got hit with a right hook I didn't see coming in the 2009 Golden Glove regional trials in regional tournament in Corpus Christi, Texas.
Yep. Okay.
30 seconds, bro. Like, I came out, I felt good. I'm like, even though he was, a bigger guy than me, I'm like, I'm gonna break him down eventually. I think he was just as nervous as I was, bro. He ended up throwing a weaving right hook that I didn't see, and I don't remember getting hit. I don't remember clinching. I don't remember hitting the ropes. I just remember like snapping back in when the ref was like walk to me.
Yeah.
And it's like, the movie is back on. I'm like, I get here. And you remember the Roy Jones shoes, the high tops?
Yeah.
Them joints was heavy. They was super heavy.
Super heavy.
Man, I went to go take a step and I stumbled, and the ref was like, oh no, this fight's over with. And I'm like, like what happened? And I get back to the locker room. Back then it's 2009, so the camera phones wasn't really. If it was camera phones then, I was world star immediately. But luckily there were no camera phones that was like legit back then. So I remember getting back to the locker room, and it was like damn, like it's over with that quick. I'm out the tournament, and then it's like the embarrassment. But I started thinking further. I'm like, damn, if it's like this for an amateur fighter, I can only imagine how it is for a guy that's a professional. And then, I graduated college and then got into managing, and then I was able to see it for myself of, damn, like not only are the contracts bad, but you go in the ring and you get beat up, you get your head rattled essentially, and then you're doing it for not peanuts, but the hard percentages, like it's 10% here, 33% here, 5% here, and it's like, damn, before taxes, you really not making no bread. So as a young manager in the game, I decided, okay, you know what? I can just talk about how bad things are, or I can do something about it. And that's where the motivation came from.
Okay.
Everybody's talking about it. Like, let me be the one to do something about it.
Take that first step.
That's how Protect Yourself at All Times, the book, came into fruition.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, man.
It's good to hear, man. You took that step, and I feel like it made a big impact, even if it was just that one step.
Yeah.
I'm sure you got plans on.
I had to take an ass whooping for everybody else to benefit from it. I had to be the one to take the sacrifice. But.
So that was a novice.
Yeah, that was my
fight.
That was my second fight.
Okay, cool. So that was still a novice fight. Them novice fights, maybe, and it's something to talk about for a whole nother topic, whole nother day. But those novice fights seem to always have like the stoppages, the big knockouts, and there's a reason behind that. But that's a whole nother story. We talk about it a little later, though.
Nah, I got you. But I'm thankful for the right hook, because it knocked me into the business side of boxing. So So Timothy Tipton, if you out there, I'm looking for you, but I'm not. I don't want no problem with the right hand, but thank you for knocking me into this. But the business side is important, because even with your career, like if you could look back on your career, business-wise, not anything fight-wise, business-wise, what's the one thing like you would have done differently, business-wise, for Lamont Peterson going back to the beginning of your career? I know it's a loaded question, but
it's a loaded question. Just taking the time to understand certain lingo that was in contracts, and it might have been in one contract, a contract with a manager, but same lingo is in a promotional contract, and then maybe say 3 years later, it's kind of the same thing.
Gotcha.
And never really taking the time to really truly understand what some of this stuff means.
Gotcha.
I found comfort in the history of the sport, where I'm signing with promoters or managers that manage the greatest fighters that ever lived, and that I looked up to. So I found comfort in just, they did it.
Gotcha.
I can do it.
Right.
Things like that. So yeah, I would have dictated the business part of things a little more than it was just more for me. It's like, I got people to handle that. I'm just want to focus on fighting.
Gotcha.
And a lot of fighters do have that mentality. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but I think we kind of outgrowing that. I do feel like fighters should be more assertive into their career on the business side.
Agreed. And going back to those words, it's like those words, they sound good. Like thinking about the legal term, like perpetuity.
Yeah.
Like it sounds like a harmless word. So it's like if I'm sitting with you right now, let's say that you are a young amateur fighter. Go back to Lamont Peterson coming out of the amateurs. You're
2003, 2004.
Okay, yeah, exactly. I'm just getting out of high school at that point. And I'm sitting down with Lamont Peterson, and you're one of the top fighters, if not the top fighter, coming out of the amateurs. And this is your moment sitting with a manager. And of course, I'm telling you the good things of, man, you know, I always want to work for you, man. I think you're gonna have a promising career. You're gonna make millions of dollars, and you're gonna go on to win all these world titles. And then I'm like, you know, this contract, we're gonna do this together. We're gonna be a team. We're gonna be a unit, and we're gonna do it in perpetuity. And I keep talking, but like that pretty word, that word of perpetuity, it kind of sits there.
Yeah, I don't have to know what that means. I know what all this other stuff means.
Exactly. And then eventually, I think you get to a point of like damn, like what does perpetuity mean? And from my standpoint, if I'm that type of manager to where I'm trying to throw wool over your eyes, or I'm trying to fool you, I'm taking the thing that you're probably worried about the most is like, what is perpetuity? And I'm gonna try to blind it by saying, you know what perpetuity is, Lamont? This is perpetuity. We're gonna make a lot of this in perpetuity. And I'm gonna make sure that you never, or your family never has to work again. So at that point, the whole conversation changes because now something that you're interested in is on the table. Perpetuity means forever. This agreement that we're entering into, like you can't get out of. You can't fire your representative. That's crazy.
It's crazy.
But it happens in the sport of boxing.
It's one of the only sports that it happens in.
Yeah, because everything else is like regulated. You know, the unions regulate, and they the ones that approve or deny the agents essentially. But in boxing, you can give $100 to your state commission. You can be a felon. You can be someone, and I don't want to say that felons don't deserve a second chance. However, you can have a criminal background, no experience, no education, like, never negotiated a contract, but the state will send you a license to become a manager in the sport of boxing. That's any of these states that's here.
And I can attest to that on the coaching side, right?
Got you.
So me and my brother fought a lot on the same cards, right?
Yep.
And you get a certain amount of cornermen at the time. You know, if it's not a world title fight, 3 people, right? So I'll get 3 people. Of course, they get free credentials, things like that. Yeah. So if my brother we using the same cornerman, right?
Gotcha.
So, too late now. But then, you know, so say my sister or Angela, people coming, they sign that same form just to make the point.
Good point.
Stick to the point.
Yeah.
It's that easy.
Yeah.
They can sign up to be cornermen and get in for free.
Yeah.
And they are legally.
Yeah. They can go work somewhere else.
License, if they wanted to, they can come in my corner if they wanted to.
Yeah.
No other sport.
No, and bro, it's criminal in its own sense. So it's like there's a problem, and you hear Floyd say, we'll clean up the sport of boxing. And it's like, bro, like that goes further than just the judges sitting ringside or fighters taking things that they shouldn't as far as banned substances go. That goes to the state commissions, that goes to the promoters, the managers, even goes to USA Boxing, man. Like there has to be, if we're gonna clean it up, then
start from
there's gonna have to be a deep cleanse, you know what I'm saying, to get things going a certain way. But that should be looked into, that just anybody. Yeah, and a lot of times, you don't have to be. You told on yourself, so I'm gonna tell on myself. I wasn't licensed to manage in the state of Texas for years. I didn't get no phone calls of like, yo, like,
hey, what you doing here?
Like nothing. No one said anything to me, and you're just able to keep moving forward with negotiating these contracts for these guys, and you don't have to be licensed through the state. Like that's a problem. A boxer should realize that he or she is a business in the amateurs. The programming should start in the amateurs. For when you turn pro, you already understand that you are a business owner rather than, you trying to learn that you're a business owner the first day on the job, man, it's the success rate of that moving forward is quite low. But if you understand around 13, 14 years old, maybe even a little earlier than that, that a professional boxer, their name is the business. And then you start to warp your mind to understand that, like even little things, like when you are in line at the amateur tournament, whether it's the nationals or whatever, and they usually make the fighters go sit down. The trainer is the one that'll fill out your paperwork or whatever it may be. No, the fighter needs to be there making sure that things are filled out correctly. Now, if the trainer's still there and aid with certain things, that's always cool. But the fighter don't need to just go sit down somewhere and let someone else handle their business. That's the incorrect programming for young fighters.
And that'll go a long way with fighters. I'm just looking back on my career and just looking at my mindset and how I dealt with things. I detached from the business side of the boxing game.
Gotcha.
Right? I was there for the sport, the love of the sport.
Yeah.
So y'all did deal with all that. Like, I'm not worried about that. The money gonna come, stuff like that. It's gonna come because I'm that good at fighting. That's I'm just speaking my younger me.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're gonna get to the championship, we're gonna get to the money. All that's gonna come because I can fight. And the business side, I'm not worried about that. So I do, when I look back at it, I did like detach from the business side. I just wanted to deal with getting better, performing as best I can, and somebody else can deal with that. And if I looked at it from that standpoint, first chapter, I'm a business owner, then I'm gonna move differently.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
I will move differently.
Exactly. One of the biggest mistakes a fighter can make, not understanding that they're a business owner, is like you're giving up like power of attorney to someone else. So you're leaving it up to your manager or your trainer to make all the decisions for you, and you don't know what's going on. They don't bring you in on what's going on. You're not a part of any conversations. It's like you're in the dark, because in your mind you program yourself like, okay, I'm just a soldier, I'm just an employee at this point, so I'm going to do whatever they tell me to do. And to me, that's treachery in anything, whether it's boxing or whatever, to give up power of attorney and just let people control you. So for me, that's one of the biggest mistakes that a fighter can make when they don't understand that they're not a business owner, is like they just give up their business and let someone else run it.
Yeah, and a lot of the contracts, when you initially get them, are one-sided. And that's not to be like, to be catch feelings over it or anything.
Yeah,
it's like any business deal. Like if one presents a contract, it's gonna be one-sided, but it's up to you, the job, to catch these things and, kind of dictate and get some of the things that you want out of it. And eventually you'll come to a mutual agreement. I learned that at some point in my career, but in the beginning part, it was just like, I was just, again, not too much worried about the business side. It's like, okay, let's just sign it, right?
Yeah.
But at some point, it's just like, nah, I don't like that. And you start feeling comfortable with saying things, doing things, and knowing that you be thinking in the beginning, I don't want to mess this deal up.
Right.
But then, you know what I'm saying? At some point, you just start saying, like, okay, this is business. I can say I want this, but then, it's not going to like the deal is over.
Right.
Yeah. It's just more now, let's do a little debate.
And then my thing is this, like, at the end of the day, if someone don't like what you said, like, what are they really gonna do about it? Like, what? Like, I'm really gonna be like, hey, Lamont, let's run something then.
Right.
Like, no, it's just it's always gonna be a back and forth. It's never gonna be a level of, okay, let's bring this thing to blows, because I feel like you want to do something totally outside of the contract. So I'm with you.
I'm not sure if it's intended or not when it comes to putting pressure on a fighter to sign or do certain things, but it's there, right? And it's created by the fighter a lot of times. It's just lack of understanding. Here it is, a lot of times, the people that's playing in these, that's been around in the sport, that's playing the roles in these sports, have probably dealt with, on the business side, some of the great fighters that you looked up to. And once you start to have a conversation with those people, the pressure starts. I want in on this. I'm, that much closer to my goal. So yeah, it was, to me, I did feel like it was some type of added pressure on signing or not fighting for everything that I would want in a deal.
When it comes to contracts, whether it's time for the fighter to sign it or it's time to go over the contract with the fighter, a lot of time the focus is just on the numbers. How much they're getting paid and how long they have to be within the set contract or whatever. But from the business side, a lot of things are done via email now. A lot of phone conversations, a lot of text messages, but mainly emails. It's rare that you're in the room with that lawyer, how it is on the movies, and then they're at a long table, and then you're on one side, and then it's, you usually get that done before you even get to the in-person standpoint. It's done via email, and you have different things. You have certain promoters that, have certain things in the contract that are not conducive for your client, for the fighter. But again, it just goes with negotiation, and everything is negotiable in the sport of boxing. So when you get a contract and it's a horrible contract and you don't like it, you don't take it personal, and you don't act out of emotion. You just go into redlining mode of what you don't want in the contract and what your concessions are, and you go from there. So it's just, you're not supposed to get emotional or get upset. It's just the point of, okay, now this is a real negotiation, and there's a back and forth until we come to happy medium, so to speak.
For intelligent people who comprehend what they're seeing, it's like, oh, but this is a little bit insulting. Why would you bring something like that to me? That you're insulting my intelligence, or maybe you just don't think I have any. Because who would sign this? Who would agree to that?
Yeah, I mean, you get they're not disrespecting you as a person. They're not disrespecting you as a person. It's just honestly,
good way to.
It's sometimes people rush into signing the contract because they want to get the deal done, or pressure's been put on the fighter or the manager, like, we need to sign this by Wednesday, or the deal's not going to get done, and then you send over some malarkey, and the fighter is in a rush, and even though the manager's saying we should wait, the fighter's like, no, man, let's get this signed and let's go from there, and they send back the signatures. And then the promoter's like, damn, they actually signed the BS that we initially signed. There's no red lines or anything. So you can't blame the promoter or the manager. It's like this, I'm not gonna say it's their job to get over on you, but if I'm gonna send you something and you're not gonna red line anything, you're not gonna read through it, you're just gonna sign it and send it back, then the person you should be upset with is you, not me, so to speak.
Yeah, I just think they're just doing what they've done for a century now.
Great point.
It's just time to reevaluate what's going on, the contracts and what's expected. They're just doing what's been done. So I never take it personal, but am I a bit insulted after reading contracts at this point? Absolutely. But again, it's the way things been done. So everybody is comfortable with this being done. Like, okay, I'm sure people even at this point now, like if I sign with, I've signed with Golden Boy, I've signed with Top Rank, and, places like that. Like some of these kids that watch me as a, in my heyday and I'm, champion, they look up to me. They're more comfortable signing this deal because guess what? Lamont signed it. Right. Mike Tyson signed it. Like it just gets to that point. But I just think overall, it need to be a collective sit down. It's some things just need to be changed, right? We need a new baseline, so to speak, new baseline. Because some of them baselines, man, it's just like all the rights are in favor for the person that structured the contract.
Boxing manager is the spokesperson for the fighter, and your primary role is essentially to negotiate contracts on behalf of the fighter. So whether that's getting him signed with a promotional company, he signs with, i.e. a Golden Boy Promotions, then it's my job as manager to be in contact with their matchmaker for fight offers. I negotiate what the purse is going to be. I negotiate how many flights, how many hotel rooms, the per diem, the medicals. I negotiate all those things for the fighter. That's the role the base role of a boxing manager. That once you start getting into endorsement deals, things of that nature, that's if it's in that manager's wheelhouse. If that's what they are expert in, essentially, then cool, go for it. But boxing manager by title is to negotiate contracts on behalf of the fighter, and it's typically with the promotional company to make sure the fighter gets paid. That's the role of a boxing manager. You know, I've been fired for like doing my job. I've been fired for doing what my set duties were. Either the fighter got a better offer somewhere else, or they were upset about something. I got fired. I got fired for this dude wanted some like suede trunks, and like it was like $3,000. And at that time, I'm like, Brian, I only have $3,000 myself, let alone but he wanted me to pay for it. And I'm like, yo, it's not a TV fight. You know, I'm trying to reason with him, like, for a TV fight, let's run that. But for right now, no. Dude fired me because I wouldn't buy him the trunks or whatever. So, you know, from a manager standpoint, it goes both sides. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's managers that, you know, you do your job and the fighter's unhappy about something, and the way my contracts are cut, you can fire me with, you know what I'm saying, 10, 30-day notice or whatever it may be. But there are some managers that get caught.
I couldn't fire my manager.
And that's a thing. You know, that's a thing though. That's a thing to where a lot of people don't think about, especially in the sport of boxing. You sign an agreement with the manager, but you can't fire your representative. Like that's where, especially where like how I've been working for the past 16 years, and then with Fighters First, it's like, bro, if you're not happy, and it's happened. Like I've had clients that were not happy about whatever, whether it's they didn't get a fight at a certain time after their first loss or whatever, and they were like, yo, I want to go in a different direction. Cool, like send me an email just stating that you want to go in a different direction, and it's cool. But that part is unheard of in boxing because now it's like managers are like, no, like you signed this fixed term agreement, you can't fire me. I can release you. You lose a fight, I can release you from this contract, but if I botch an agreement or if I botch a contract to where you don't get paid as much as you should, or I miss out on something, you can't fire me. That part is like really, you know what I'm saying, like backwards as far as boxing goes, but that's where the negotiation process comes in at, as far as whether it's termination clause, because in most contracts there is a termination clause to where I can let you know how I can terminate this contract, but from a negotiation standpoint, from a fighter, you should be like, all right, well, this is an agreement. We're coming to an agreement in this contract. So if you have a clause that can terminate me and you can let me go, then I should have the same right because you're just my representative. You work for me, I'm paying you. You may be giving me a stipend, but that don't mean you own me. But that conversation has to happen to where the contract agreement between fighter and manager, if I can release you because you lost a fight, you should be able to fire my ass because I botched in a negotiation or I messed up something or you haven't fought in 6 months. You should be able to terminate the agreement also with 30-day notice. The typical percentage ask is, from a manager standpoint, I gotta get my words correct because it varies. You sit up for this one. Me too. Jesus. So, typical. That's a broad word for this topic.
It's, I guess if you give a like highest to lowest.
That's how, you know, the highest I've heard. The highest I've heard was between 35 and 33%. That's the highest that I've heard. Now that typical range, I guess, if you want to, lack of a better phrase, 25 to 20% is kind of like the mid-level, I guess, and then the lower level would be 15 all the way down to 10%. At Fighters First, we charge the fighters 10%, which I think is very much so unheard of.
Fair deal.
Yeah.
At my time of coming through, the number I was hearing constantly over and over and over and over and over again, 30.
Got you.
It was a solid 30.
I'm sorry, my bad. My thought.
Solid 30.
Yeah.
And so it's good to see that changes are, being made. I just don't think that's. I get that a manager is needed. I don't think 30 is the number.
Yeah, but it comes with negotiation. Everything is negotiable in the sport of boxing, so you can't take it personal. Just because they say, well, for these services, 33%. It's like, that's cool, but, I have this manager here who wants to represent me, who has other fighters that are credible also, and he's only charging, let's say the number is 18%. So you're at 30%, and this guy's at 18%, and you guys have pretty much had the same success. That gap that's in between, explain to me further why you have that added gap. What do you do that this guy doesn't do to warrant that 30%?
Yeah.
Like, it becomes a conversation at that point. But anything for me, knowing what I know about the business, anything over 20%, at that point, like 20 should be the highest. Now you got guys like, if you want to put Al Heyman in the manager category, Al Heyman, Jay Prince, Frank Espinosa, Cameron Duncan. Those are some of the great managers. I would even throw. He's been around for so long. You're Shelly Finkel. Your first. They've done a lot for the sport from a management standpoint. I don't know what Shelly was charging, but with other managers, like 15%. If Al is charging 15% and he's doing the most for the fighters, why would any other manager charge 20 or 25 or 30%? Make sense of it, because you can't do for me what Al Heyman is doing for guys. So why is it that you're charging so much? The only thing I will say is that's why words matter. Words matter. So a bonus. If I'm a manager and I'm saying I'm going to give you a sign-on bonus, and I'm going to give you money to sign with me, whatever money is you're taking up front, you have to understand from the manager's standpoint, they're boosting up their percentage based off of the money that they essentially fronted you. So without the bonus, you betting on yourself and okay, I'm trusting you to manage my career.
Right.
But like finances or whatever, no, I'll get it on the back end myself. Then at that point, it becomes a real negotiation. It's not tampered with at all. But if you're gonna accept that money up front, then you have to understand that 15% can easily become 25.
I can get wanting a higher percentage when you investing financially into a fighter also, and you're going to do this work.
But here's my thing. Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, his first investor, Peter Thiel, I think that's his last name, Peter Thiel, out of California. I believe it was an angel investment of $500,000. $500,000 into Facebook. The percentage of ownership that Peter Thiel got, 7%. $500,000 investment, 7%. Managers in boxing, $20,000 investment, 33% of your funds going forward for the next 5 to 7. That makes a lot. Makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. It's like, bro, just that example alone.
It kind of lets you know it's just time to revisit these things, but it's not nobody to go to do it. Right? It's just, boxing is so elusive. It's nobody that you can go to.
That's where you are going to come into play. And I'm still on the management side. Right now, you coming in as a consultant, as an advisor to guys to help them out. You sitting with the families beforehand. You can help out with that to where when they come to you in a group meeting and they say, well, this is what he's saying. He'll give us $20,000 as a stipend, but he just wants 33% of the contract moving forward. That exact face you just made. That tells it all at that point. But at least the families know.
Just in case you ain't see my face.
The families know at that point, and then you can explain to them why this does not make sense or whatever. So the percentages vary in the sport of boxing, but Typical is a loose word to use.
Yeah. You should break down a little more too, because we're just talking about the manager. You talk about promotion. You talk a little about belts. I mean, there's a lot that
promotion.
Gotcha.
Oh yeah. So I just wanted to, we are going to talk about that. Okay. Because a young fighter doesn't know probably all that this gets taken out, right?
The promoters you don't pay.
The promoters you don't pay unless you go fight on somebody else's card. Which, and even with that, you're still technically right. You don't pay, but they do take it out of. It's like, and that's even negotiable. Everything in boxing is negotiable to where you sign with Top Rank. And then you go fight on a Golden Boy card or a Riyadh season card.
What's the percentage going to come out?
Yeah, you're going to fight on another promotional card. So it's in your promotional contract of how much that percentage would be. Typically, that number I think is between 20 and 30%.
Yeah, I think I saw 20 before.
Yes, but again, everything is negotiable in the sport, so that number can be negotiated. But it does. They call it crossing the street. It's not free. I explained this before with the situation with Boots and Brian Norman Jr. I'm like, bro, we're signed with Top Rank. He's with Matchroom. Matchroom's the one that's hosting the show. So y'all are complaining about, you turned down $1.7 million. Like, understand the breakdown. You guys are just seeing $1.7 million. From my standpoint, I have to look at it and, okay, well, it is 1.7 being offered, but take in mind, he has to pay trainer fees. He has to pay managerial fees. He is the world champion, so he has to pay sanction fees. And then add in the promotional fee to cross the street. Y'all are seeing $1.7 million after all of the expenses. I'm looking at more so like $800,000 to $900,000. So you can get mad at me all you want to for advising my client, like, bro, no, either they're gonna pay us more money or the fight is not gonna happen. And they decided not to pay us more money, so the fight did not happen. Like, if it's gonna be marked as $1 million fight, I'd be damned if my guy don't go home with that $1 million. It don't make no sense of, okay, it's $1 million fight, but he's going home with $800,000 before taxes. I do have a question, even though I know you're the one that's controlling it. I got a question for you, though.
Feel free.
When you first started, I always want to go backwards because now you've been through the forest. You've seen the wood. You've seen the good side and the bad side of the sport. Your son, let's say, wants to turn pro. He went through the amateur circuit and he wants to turn pro. Knowing what you know now, what's the first thing you tell him to do? We're going to turn pro. That's already set. What's the first thing that you tell him to do to get prepared?
First, got to ask him certain questions.
Yeah.
Of what's his purpose for boxing?
Gotcha.
And once we get all those things established, then of course I'll have to add some of my expertise in there and just giving suggestions. But it's a business, and you'll take a liking to some of these players that's in the business, but let's always keep it business.
I love that.
That would be probably the first thing.
Gotcha.
Because everything stems off of that.
Yeah.
The other stuff will just be dictated off what he wants to accomplish in the sport.
Gotcha.
And we can vary from there. But this is a business. We're treating it as a business, period.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I love that because it's spectators, it's a sport for them.
Sport.
It's a sport for them. But like your son, even though I don't know if your son is boxing or not, but for you, for me, for people, it's a business.
It's a business.
First, it's a sport. We recognize that.
That is understood.
That's secondary though. It's a business first. What's one mistake in business that you can say, that you can speak openly on, that you're comfortable speaking openly on? What's one mistake that you made early in your career that stems with the business side of boxing?
Good question. I think the first mistake, it started even before I turned pro. In 2003, I had a really good year as an amateur fighter. I had won the USA Championships, was awarded Outstanding Boxer of the tournament. That particular year, I did well in international competition. And this the year you preparing for the Olympics.
Yeah.
And that year I was awarded Athlete of the Year by the Olympic Committee.
Dope.
So, of course, my name is buzzing and ringing
Right.
around the sport, around the country. So at that point, the managers, the promoters, they are all they're calling.
Yeah.
Right. And at the time, in these situations, like I'm a amateur fighter. My team that I have around me, my coaches and everyone, they've been around the sport, they understand the game, but on the professional ranks, they're green, right? They're green.
Understood.
We're all green. It's a green team.
Yeah, right.
And so you start having these relationships with these managers, promoters. I just honestly would have took my time a little more on signing. Probably would have bet on myself a little more. Things were happening that I had no knowing of. And things kind of hit the fan at that point with me just signing on with a well-known manager in the beginning. And we had a promotion company that was moving us fairly well.
Gotcha.
We had built a good relationship with them and all. And me and my brother was up to like 20-0, somewhere around that. And this promotion company, we haven't locked in really anything from a contractual at this point. Yeah. And they're moving us, and it's like, okay, it's time, for us to kind of sign. And it's like, yeah, I agree. So let's, sit down. And so they send the contract, and they, we going over it. We have people looking over it. Coaches looked over it. A few lawyers looked over it, and it's like, okay, cool. And but we were looking for a signing bonus in that particular deal. And when we talked about it not being there, then they said, they kind of, and then things kind of went from there. At that point, it's arbitration,
Gotcha.
Things like that. And if you don't know what arbitration is like court outside of court.
Gotcha.
And then we're doing that, and that still costs money though. Just because it's out of court doesn't mean it costs money, and it just held up our career a bit.
Gotcha.
And I really considered, I was like, I don't want to play this game no more.
Right. So it was pretty much something happened to where you wish you would have been involved in the beginning conversations with both sides, like with the manager.
I just understand it.
Gotcha.
Having somebody there that understand what was going on.
Gotcha.
Yes, certain things were being broken down, but did I understand to that degree?
Understood.
No.
Understood.
Maybe somebody there that been through that can translate all of that still to me. So it's like, okay, the lawyer can break it down and get you to understand, yeah. But then there's some stuff that maybe a fighter or somebody that been in that particular, that break it down even more, like the fine detailing.
Yeah. And
it's like, oh, so that's what that means, or that's the position. So now I can start putting myself in the shoes and see, really, do I want to be in this situation?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just unfortunate.
How much would have wanted to be a part of the conversations when your manager is talking to promoters, or when there's meetings with your manager and the promoter? Knowing what you know now and looking backwards, is it important, or would it have been important for you to be a part of some of those conversations, or you
100% would have wanted to be there,
Gotcha.
Right? Because if we're all collectively have one goal, then we all should be sitting there trying to form that one goal.
Yeah.
Sometimes when translating things, okay, the manager and the promoter have the conversation, but the manager is responsible for bringing it back to the fighter. And interpretation varies so much.
Yeah.
And it's not to say a person is lying. You really can take something. I use this saying a lot. I can be a billionaire and I can give a person $10 million, right? I decide to get 3 people $10 million. And you might get 3 different responses. Yeah, oh yeah, 10 million, man, that's a good dude. Lamont, good dude, right?
Yeah.
Then it's like one person, just 10.
That's
he
it?
He got billion, that's it. Like he could get more, right?
Yeah.
And then you have somebody, oh, he just showing off.
Yep.
All different perspectives.
Good point.
Right?
Good point.
So to that point, you don't know how they're perceiving that. You want to be in there so everybody so you can voice your opinion right there, so that perception don't grow, because it do grow as it's in your head. Like, you know, oh yeah, I think it went like this, but then you are always confirming yourself. Yeah, it is that. So it's growing. Yeah. And if you're there, you can talk about it right there. Y'all can all get on the same page. Now everything is growing together versus one separate thing.
I'm with you. I don't believe morality has ever been in the sport of boxing, and nor did I believe it ever will. Like, I don't. And honestly, the educational piece, learning the business that you're going to get into, and understanding that the morality of that business, we can't expect, whether it's the promoter or the manager or the advisor or the matchmaker, whoever it may be, we can't expect them to turn over this new leaf and become this ethical, moral individual when it comes to business and contracts. Your responsibility as a parent, as a guardian, as a fighter, a friend of a fighter, cousin, whoever it may be, is to tap into, whether it's protect yourself at all times or whatever educational piece it is, to help prepare you or get understanding for the business that you're about to get into. If you already know that professional boxing is a janky sport or business, excuse me, then you got to get prepared for it the best way you can. And according to my watch, I mean, you think about it. Sport has been around for a century plus. Aside from protect yourself at all times, name me another educational system or entity that's strictly for professional boxing that can help protect the fighters from being taken advantage of contractually or financially.
I'm quiet.
I am too. You can't. So the job of the fighter and their parents is to educate themselves, but don't expect the sport or the people that make it up from the business side to be moral or ethical.
So just protect yourself at all times. That's pretty much it. Protect yourself at all times. Yeah, but it's like, what you're saying, it makes a lot of sense. And, you know, we'll to spend the hours, the finances and traveling the country, preparing to be, but, you know, you protecting yourself by learning how to block punches and do all that. But it's just as important, and a lot of time need to be spent too on protecting yourself outside of the ring, because that's part of the sport. The sport is considered a business. So the business side, it cannot be avoided. If you want it to just have fun and fight, then the amateur program is probably where you need to stay. Because once you get over into the professional ranks, it is a different thing. It crosses over from being a sport to a business. And you have to treat it that way.
Great point.